Hello and welcome to a video on clock management technique in endurance races. There will be 3 stages. First is use time, then it's save time, then it is go time, also known as lawnmower mode. More on that later. First, use time. And that's going to answer the question you're asking, which is, why are you going backwards? Well, that's because there's all sorts of time in lap 1. And you might just go forward from the start and then start passing a whole bunch of slow cars and then wonder why you can't get very far. Well, we're going to get into that. By the way, this is on track. If it wasn't, my distance would be red, which I will show you very shortly. Watch what happens at the start-finish line. I've already banked 0.59 kilometers. Distance doesn't count when you drive in reverse. So there you go, I banked some distance. Now I'm going to give a little bit up because I'm going to run out of clock very soon. Now I just gave up 0.08 kilometers. I gained 0.59, so I'm still ahead 0.51 kilometers. Now I'm going to try very hard not to go off track. I'm going to catch the box right as my timer's running out. So I'm going to keep it pinned here, full throttle through this. Oh, I did do a micro lift. I was a little bit nervous. You're going to see here, I'm almost out of time, and I've caught up. Okay, now we get into phase 2, just this early, which is bank time or save time. So here I want to be careful. There's a lot of strategy involved in this. So we're going to go through quite a few different things. Try not to go off track for this whole time now, because there's going to be a lot of slow cars coming up. Like my timer still looks dangerously low, but the cars are really slow at the beginning of an endurance race, right? You've seen that. What we accomplish by driving backwards for a bit is we space that out. So I won't get a gaggle of bots. It should be easier to get around them. So now I've got to know my braking points. Because for the next, for quite a few laps now, it's going to be really easy. So there's no need to get really reckless and hit people. I do like catching side draft, which a lot of people don't know is actually in this game. But yes, side draft is in this game. You can tell because your speed will turn yellow when you are catching side draft. And of course, you can catch a push too. So you'll often see me trying to take advantage of that. You will see me doing some pretty tight driving here. And then you have to know how hard you can push each car. So I know that heading into this chicane, if my speed's around 360, I don't need to brake. I can just take it. If my speed's getting to 370, I better brake. Just very, very, very little. And then same with coming up to a parabolica here. I definitely have to brake here, but not too much. Now, don't pass if it will overfill your timer. So you've got to know certain things, like how much do you get per lap? Well, 28-second bonus at the start-finish line, right? Okay. And 10-second bonus for every car you pass. So watch. I wait till that timer goes below 80 before I pass. That's very important because your timer can't go over 90. That's the maximum you can get. So then, don't pass a car if your timer is over 80. See, I'm going to wait with this guy because my timer's at 84, 83, 82, 81. Now I can overtake him in this chicane. I just got to plan out where I do that. Oops. Oh, nuts. That's kind of a waste. I didn't plan that very well. Oh, well. Moving on, right? So there's you got to know what you're doing here. So here, I could take that full throttle if my speed's even up to 320. It's getting a little bit dicey around there, though. So that means I'm going to be going quite fast here, nearing that 370 mark. But I also saw there was bots. And now we get into the planning mode. Like, I will not pass this guy because of the amount of time on my clock. Well, he's really slowing me down. I think I will pass him. Yeah, he's really slowing me down. So you have to know what you get for each lap and about how far it is. Like, how long does it take you to get from parabolica to the start-finish line, etc. So let's see here, 62.291, 28 seconds at the line. I only lost 0.291 seconds. So that's okay. You don't want to slam on the brakes at the start-finish line just to save a fraction of a second and you give up 3 seconds of momentum, right? So don't be foolish, but just plan it. Like, start planning quite early in a lap, and I'm going to start getting into that. So if I brake for this chicane this much, if there's no one in my way, I should be able to take this full throttle. Now that guy's, I got to make sure I'm being careful with where he is. And I don't want to be throwing sideways here. Now, no, I'm going to wait before I pass this guy. Just waiting. Okay, so now is when I'm already thinking about the rest of this lap. Do I wait or what? So if I've got 85 seconds before I enter this chicane, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to pass this guy because I know that I'll have way too much time on my clock. Also, this guy, he's very fast, but he's got bad grip. If the clock is over 62 at the start of Parabolica, I don't pass. So at the start of Parabolica, I mean before I'm even on the brakes. I'm not looking at my timer when I'm getting on the brakes. So this guy's getting way out ahead of me, but look, my timer just went to 86. That's great. I don't regret passing him. If I would have passed him, I would have given up at least 6 seconds. Probably more, because I slowed down a lot. This guy's annoying to overtake because he's so fast. And always remember to keep paying very careful attention to what you're doing, or that can happen. Ugh. It's still early enough that that's quite inconsequential. Doesn't really matter. I went a little bit off track there. Don't worry about a little bit here and there. You want to avoid the big oopsies, which I've made a few of. Now here I'm going to be careful with my braking. 80 seconds on the clock. I don't mind passing this guy then, because I'm going to be at like, you know, before the chicane I'm down to like 70, right? Sure. So then I don't mind passing this guy, but the next guy, well, I'm not so sure. I'm going to wait for a little bit and just see how slow he is. If he's really dreadfully slow, then he's just wasting a lot of my time. Like, this is getting ridiculous. So he could really waste a lot of time for me. I think I should still wait. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to do a very quick little freeze frame at the line, and let's just see what this did for me. Well, we'll go slow motion. Just watch this, slow motion. Across the line, I pass him. I almost perfectly filled my timer. That was a good decision. I'm glad I did that. We're going to keep doing this for a while yet. I'm going to take it easy, because sometimes you think the bots are starting to get spread out, but then you find a gaggle of them, or a grouping, like just a cluster. Because the bots are driving so differently, it really depends on the car. They get in these clusters where they're kind of stuck, like they don't overtake very easy. So like coming up right here, we're going to see a cluster. And I'm going to take this kind of aggressively. Yeah, this is fun. Let's go. We're going to replay this actually after I do this. Look at that. That's pretty dicey. I wasn't catching side draft. How strange. Anyway, little hop on the curb there. Now I'm entering this. I could probably take this full throttle. I might end up I micro lifted. And then I don't mind overtaking this guy. I will not pass the next guy. Just look at that timer. Now, it's funny how the Red Bull cars are so slow in this particular invitational. Might not be in all, but just look at this. That's odd. Because they're actually a fast car. So I don't understand that, but that's what the monkeys did for their coding. And I'm still well over 80 seconds, so I'm going to wait. I don't even think I can overtake him at the chicane here. Nope, I can't. Try to power out of this and take him now. Yeah, perfect. Nice. That's nice. 36 kilometers. Okay, so I'm getting close to go time. Not yet, because there could still be some clusters. There's a little mini cluster right there. Try to get around these guys. Oh, I gotta wait for a bit. And the Ferraris are so slow, which is kind of funny. Like, well, bots are so bad in the corners. The Ferraris are amazing in the corner, and the brakes are amazing. Like, they're equal to the Mercedes for grip. I think that's correct. Or was there a tiny... No, it's acceleration. There's a 100th of a second difference in acceleration and 0.3 of a second difference in brakes. The Ferrari has the brake advantage. Okay, so heading into Parabolica here, only 60-some seconds on the clock. It's getting to go time. We're getting very close here. So that means full-out lawnmower mode, where I'm taking cuts. Yep, it's go time, guys. When I get to that 40-kilometer point, or lap 8, now this bot, I suddenly just didn't know what to do. I usually would take the left-hand cut when there's a bot in the way, right-hand cut if there isn't. I was too late to make that decision. So, oh well. I might have made a mistake there. I'm definitely cutting from now on. So you're going to watch here. As soon as I go over that banner, I'm going lawnmower mode. You might notice micro lifts just to regain some traction. And I shouldn't have to wait for anybody anymore. I don't really want to. I'm kind of just going to ignore the timer, and I'm just going for it. Now, this could have me reaching 370 here. Not quite. I'm going to do a micro lift then. Oh, maybe a little bit of braking. You got to do it by feel. You can't always look at everything while you're going so intensely. Parabolica coming up here. So right when I'm at that green there, that's about where I'm making my final decision. I mean, at this point, it's just go time. So now this gets really interesting. I changed my map to yellow recently. I find that a little bit easier to work with. So I'm trying to see if there's anyone there. I don't see anyone. This can be more controllable, but then I went off track. Got to be very careful when you overshoot off to the side. You don't want to correct too much. If I would have turned left too much, then my car would have lost traction and I would have lost even more time. There, ooh, beautiful. Sometimes that wall sucks me in and I just go kaboom. Looking at my speed, I will definitely have to lift a little bit. As you can see, that was a very short lift off the throttle, but without that, there's a good chance I'm gonna go flying off track. In a time trial, I'm keeping it pinned, and if I fly off track, I try again. No, whoa! That was interesting. Not here. Here, I gotta just go for it. So now the bots are driving very aggressively. So that's why, like, you gotta get around people fast. And right around, basically, after lap 8, mistakes will cost you. So that's where it really starts to matter. There I was catching some side draft, trying to get him to give me the overtail. Now, I'm checking my map for dots. If I see those dots, I'm going left. If I don't see any dots, I'm going right. Because the right-hand cut is more controllable. The left-hand cut, if you get it wrong, is a disaster. Like, you're gonna come to a dead stop because you're gonna hit the wall. Right-hand cut, if you get it wrong, you definitely lose a good chunk of momentum, but it's not as disastrous as a bad left-hand cut. My goodness, that was a fast corner. Some people have been asking me again if I'm cheating. I'm not cheating. People better than me could comment on that and say, no, he's definitely not cheating. It's just in some of these corners, if you are taking that corner even a tenth or 2/10 later than I am, you're gonna go off track. There's a very narrow room for entrance if you're maximizing corners. Same with Parabolica. You get this wrong, you're into the gravel and you're losing all sorts. So when I first started this game, I thought almost everybody was cheating. Then I got better, and the better I got, the more I realized that way fewer people were cheating than I thought. So it's just a matter of skill. If you're slow on the straights, it's because you took the last corner incorrectly. Your speed on a straight is completely dependent on your exit of the corner. Your exit of the corner depends on your entry into the corner. Your speed through a corner is all based on your entry. So there's a lot to it. It takes years to get good. And here we go. This is coming to a close pretty soon. You can see there's a bot in the distance. If you watch the map, you'll actually see there's 2 of them. So watch as I go through the chicane. In the map, you can see it. I tried to be too aggressive. I have made it an extra lap. I've made it to 68 kilometers. I've made it to the next lap. If you pass that guy, you're getting to another lap. So now we're running at 2.5 times normal speed because I don't want to bore you. And that's a nice distance, guys. That's 39 miles for my American friends. And that's some good MPay. I've got a video that shows this is possible endlessly. I'm going to say that's the hardest race in the game. And here's some other videos you might find interesting. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me today.